The sound did not belong to the city. In the middle of a bright, restless afternoon, when traffic hummed and glass towers reflected the sun like mirrors, the sound cut through everything. It was a grown man crying, not quietly, not politely, but with the rawness of someone who had reached the very end of himself. People walked past without stopping, pretending not to hear. Only one man paused. He was sitting on the pavement with a worn jacket, dusty shoes, and a cardboard sign tucked beside him. Homeless, invisible to most, yet his eyes lifted when he heard the cry. He stood up slowly, brushed the dirt from his hands, and whispered to himself that he could fix it, even if he had nothing else to offer. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that even broken lives can heal one another, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel One Heart Stories. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. The billionaire's name was Adrian Cole, a man whose face appeared on magazine covers smiling confidently, though the smile had not reached his eyes for years. He owned companies, buildings, and influence, yet that afternoon he was sitting alone on a stone bench in a public plaza, head buried in his hands. His tailored suit looked perfect, but his posture was collapsed, as if the weight of his success had finally crushed him. The city saw him as powerful, but inside he was hollow. A recent business betrayal had cost him people he trusted, and worse, it had forced him to confront a truth he had avoided for decades. He had built everything except a life that felt worth living. The homeless man's name was Elias Rowan. Once, long ago, he had been a schoolteacher who believed patience could change the world. A series of losses had taken his home, his career, and eventually his place in society. Yet somehow, the worst losses had stripped him of bitterness instead of filling him with it. He survived day by day, watching people closely, learning the quiet language of pain. When he saw Adrian that afternoon, Elias did not see wealth or status. He saw the same expression he had once worn when his own life collapsed. Elias approached slowly, not wanting to startle him. The sun was high, casting clear shadows across the plaza, and the world felt too bright for such despair. Adrian noticed the movement and looked up, irritation flickering across his face at first, then confusion. A billionaire being approached by a homeless man was not unusual, but something in Elias's calm presence made him pause. Elias sat on the edge of the bench, leaving space, offering nothing but attention. He listened as Adrian poured out his pain, the words tumbling without control, about betrayal, loneliness, and the terrifying feeling that everything he had built was meaningless. Elias did not interrupt. He did not offer advice about money or power. He spoke only when Adrian's voice finally broke into silence. Elias explained that he had once tried to fix his life the way Adrian had fixed companies, by controlling every outcome. He shared how life had broken him anyway, and how, in losing everything, he had learned something no success ever taught him. He explained that pain was not a problem to solve but a signal asking to be understood. Adrian had spent his life repairing systems, negotiating deals, and winning battles, yet he had never learned how to sit with his own fear. Over the next hours, as the day continued and shadows shifted, Elias guided Adrian through something unfamiliar. He encouraged him to slow his breathing, to notice the sounds around him, to feel the bench beneath his hands, the warmth of the sun on his face. It felt foolish to Adrian at first, but gradually the tightness in his chest eased. Elias explained that fixing the outside world was easier than fixing the inner one, because the inner world required humility. Adrian realized then that despite his wealth, he had never truly been present in his own life. They met again the next day, and the next, always in daylight, always in simple public spaces. Elias taught Adrian how to listen, how to observe people without judging them, how to accept that some things could not be controlled. Adrian began to see the city differently, noticing faces he had ignored for years. The noise no longer felt overwhelming. The emptiness inside him began to soften, replaced by something unfamiliar and fragile, peace. As weeks passed, Adrian's life quietly changed. He restructured his work, stepped away from constant meetings, and began funding programs that focused on education and mental health, inspired by Elias's past as a teacher. He never announced these changes publicly. They were not about image, but about meaning. And one morning, in the same bright plaza where they first met, Adrian offered Elias something unexpected. Not charity, but partnership. He helped Elias find housing, supported him in returning to teaching, and ensured his dignity was never compromised. Just before the ending of this story, we have a special request for you. Please comment below with one word that describes how this story made you feel. Your words matter, and they help others find this video. On the final day they met in the plaza, the sun was high again, and the city moved around them as always. Elias prepared to leave, now wearing clean clothes and carrying books instead of a cardboard sign. Adrian watched him with gratitude that words could not capture. He understood now that Elias had not fixed his life the way machines were fixed. He had taught him something far more important. He had taught him how to be human. If this story touched your heart, moved you, or reminded you that help can come from the most unexpected places, please like, share, and engage with this video. Your interaction helps spread stories of hope, reminding the world that sometimes the ones with nothing are the ones who give us everything.